just wanted to let anyone know that if you guys want his phone number after this, I can give it to you. You can give him a call and say hi. But good evening, everyone. My name is Summer Carlson. I'm Brigadier General Bill's granddaughter. My granddaddy came into this world in a little frame house at the dead end of a dirt road in Goldenrod. A road that had no name and a house that had no number. It was a beautiful spring day. The songbirds were nesting, the mockingbirds were singing, the aroma of orange blossoms hung heavy over the land. His father had gone to work, and his brother and sisters had left for school. His mother, who was 9 months pregnant with him, was home alone. Shortly after 11 a.m. in the morning, his mom went out into the backyard and hung a diaper on the lemon tree. That was a signal to the neighbors that she was in labor. Across the orange grove, Mr. Shelby, the owner of the general store in Goldenrod, went out to pump gas for a customer. He saw the diaper on the lemon tree and immediately called his wife and told her, "Miss Carlson's in labor." And so Mrs. Shelby went and got Miss Eldridge, a nurse who was the midwife for most of the children in Goldenrod those days. And the two of them went to the Carlson home and did whatever a midwife does. My granddaddy was born 6 minutes after noon on that day, the 5th day of March of 1929. He says he was there, but he doesn't remember it. In October, about 7 months after he was born, the stock market crashed and the country went into the Great Depression. Overnight, the stocks lost their value and thousands of banks across the country failed. One day, the rich became poor and the poor became desolate. The Great Depression had started. His first memories of life were the years of the Great Depression, and it was a struggle to survive. Every minute of every day was spent on the basic necessities of life: food, shelter, and clothing. They lived a very primitive pioneer lifestyle. Their food was from hunting and fishing. They raised chickens for meat and eggs, and always had a cow or two for meat, milk, and butter. They always had a garden for vegetables and fruit, and his mom cooked their meals on a wood stove, and they heated the house in the winter with wood. Sawing and chopping firewood was a never-ending task. But Monday was wash day. And my granddaddy always dreaded Mondays. From the time he was old enough, his job was to pump the water and fill the wash tubs. First wash, the second wash, first rinse, and then the final rinse. In 1935, when he was 6 years old, he started school. Even though his house was in Seminole County, he went to the red brick schoolhouse on Park Avenue in Winter Park. At that time, that was the nearest school. The school bus picked them up at the little general store in Goldenrod, and they went all along Howell Branch Road to Temple Drive and then into Winter Park. Almost all of the children on the bus route lived in Seminole County. The first year he went to school, Orange County did not have any school buses. The school bus driver provided the bus. His bus was an old truck that he converted into a bus. The seats were wooden benches along the side of the truck. The bus had a corrugated tin roof. There were no glass windows. The lower half of the passenger area was boarded up. The upper half was enclosed by chicken wire, and there were canvas roll-down curtains in case it rained. As you can assume, it was cold in the winter and hot in the summer. The biggest change that occurred in his life occurred in 1936. And that was when electricity came to Goldenrod under Roosevelt's rural electrification program. The first significant event in his life occurred during the summer between 4th and 5th grade. He was 10 years old, and he saved a woman from drowning. There were a number of kids down at this old swimming hole in Goldenrod, which is on Lake Wright, called Lake Nan today. The swimming hole was off of Hall Road where it bends to the left, a quarter mile south of Aloma Avenue. There was a family there swimming who owned the turkey farm on Howell Branch Road, Mr. Wright, and his daughter and her 2 children. Mr. Wright could not swim, and he was standing on the bank while his daughter Grace and his 2 children were swimming. Suddenly, Mr. Wright began screaming, "Grace is drowning, somebody help her." And as a young child, my granddaddy was always taught that when someone needed help, you were obligated to help them. And so he went out to help her. After struggling to rescue her, he finally brought her to the shore. By this time, she was completely unconscious, but they were able to get her up on the bank. My granddaddy and his friend, Winky Jones, began CPR for nearly 40 minutes. She was soon breathing on her own and had regained consciousness, and they put her in the car and took her to the doctor's office in Winter Park, and she recovered without any problems. And as a result of this event, my granddaddy received a letter from their Congressman, Joe Hendricks, in the spring of 1941, asking if he would like to be a page boy in the Congress of the United States. And he agreed. On Sunday afternoon of July of 1941, he left for Washington, D.C. He was 12 years old at the time, and he had never slept outside of his page boy who went to school at the Capitol Page Boy School, located in the basement of the United States Capitol. The page boys from the House and the Senate also attended the school. He was the youngest page boy and the only one in 7th grade, so he had a private tutor for the 6 months that he was in Washington. The school was from 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. each day. This is funny. As a page boy, he was paid $4 a day or $120 a month, which was a lot of money in those days. And his brother was a lieutenant in the Army, and he got paid $110 a month. That's bad for ego. On Sunday, December 7th, 1941, the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor. My granddaddy left for home on December 20th, after Christmas holiday, he returned back to Winter Park High School. His school days were austere, a time of ration cards, war bonds, gas rationing, which was 3 gallons a week, and a 7 o'clock curfew at the beginning of the war. By the time he graduated, World War II had ended, and the lights had come on all over the world again. Despite the hard times of those years, his fond memories of his days at Winter Park High School still came to mind. The smiling faces of his 55 classmates, the fun and laughter of the good times they shared. But above all, he realized what a great education that he had received at Winter Park High School, and an education that prepared him for his journey all throughout life. My granddaddy attended the University of Florida and was a member of the ROTC program. And upon graduation in June of 1951, he received a commission as second lieutenant in the Army. And at that same time, he received orders calling him to active duty. This began his outstanding career in the United States Army. Rising in the ranks and traveling the world, my granddaddy's been everywhere under the sun, from California to Virginia, from Maryland to New Mexico, and even crossed the pond a time or two. As a first-generation American, wearing the uniform of his country, and my grandmother at his side, his journey through life was incredible. From the foxholes of Korea, to a one-room attic apartment in Dundalk, to an 8-bedroom, 6-bath chateau in Brussels. But one thing always remained certain: where he called from. Where he came into this world and where he resides now,